for our rights. You're exactly right. Christ died for your right to eternal salvation through him, that we might be called his children. So we have to surrender our will. And instead of being boss, number 4, I got to be willing to be at the bottom of the ladder. You've heard it said there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Well, sometimes that is the case. But you see, in order to be a good leader, you first must learn how to follow. You first have to be at the bottom rung. You have to be willing to put others before you. You have to be willing to be the servant and not the master. Are you willing to be at the bottom? Are you willing to serve when the spotlight's not on you? Are you willing to do when no one will ever know? You'll never get a pat on the back. You're not going to be the center anymore. You're going to be in the wings, so to speak, of the flock. Are you ready to surrender? Are you willing to be a soldier and not the boss? If I can do this, then I'm willing to follow. I'm primed to follow Christ. Now, number 5, instead of finding fault in life and asking why, are you willing to accept the circumstance that God brings you into? You see, God never leads us into a way that oftentimes we understand. Sometimes we can look back and understand, but most of the time where God is leading us, we don't understand why he's leading us there till we're there. Sheep go to new pasture only when the pasture is opened by the shepherd and they're led to that pasture, to a place of nourishment, to a place of refurbishing the soul. Then I tell you, sometimes I think some folks' spiritual gift is to find fault. And you know, sometimes I'm guilty of that, just like you are. We focus on the negative. If we can't understand, we can't comprehend, then we find fault in it. But remember, there's no fault in following Christ. He leads perfectly. He leads completely. We just have to follow him. And Keller says in number 6, he says, instead of exercising and inserting my will, I got to learn to cooperate. We're not good at sharing, are we? I know I'll use my grandkids for an example. They love one another. They're tight. One's 4, one's just turned 3. By the way, happy birthday, Fisher. But, you know, they play very well together most of the time. But Kim and I have learned if we happen to give our grandkids, and we do quite often, a gift, we find out we need to give it 2 of them, 1 for each child, because they get a possession and they hold it and they say that word, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. You see, we're a lot like that also. We sometimes don't like to cooperate unless it's being done the way that we want it done. Excuse me. We have to think about, and we have to concern ourselves, and we have to be aware that we are a flock, we are a family. The Lord leads us individually by the flock. We've got to cooperate. We have to sometimes not get our way. Sometimes we have to get shall we say, go down a path that we wouldn't take to get where God wants us to go. So are you willing to cooperate? Are you willing to surrender to his wish? Oh, it's easy to follow God when we go the way he wants us to go, but what if he's going a different way? What if he's leading you out of the limelight into a secluded area that no one will ever compliment or ever give you credit for? Are you willing to do that? If you are, then you're willing to follow. And finally, Keller says, instead of choosing my own way, am I willing to choose to follow Christ? Simply to do what he asked. You see, the psalmist says, he restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. That means God is leading me for his purpose, for his glory. I am just a surrendered sheep to him. Hey, this morning, I hope you are. I hope you are surrendering your will and your wants to God, and God is leading you into new green pastures beside still waters to refurbish your life. Hey, it's been good to be with you this morning. I encourage you to be back here tonight at 7 o'clock. Got a very, very, I think, powerful video to share with you and to say a few words about. So until then, may God bless you. Have a great day in the Lord.